Marjorie stood in front of her bathroom mirror, twisting open the small amber bottle in her hand. She used to hate taking pills, especially the dozen or so prescriptions she'd been given over the years, but this bottle was different. It didn't come from a pharmacy. It was vitamin D3, the first of four essentials she now took religiously every morning. At 72, Marjorie didn't feel like she was supposed to. She had energy. Her knees didn't ache the way they used to. Her sleep had improved. And more than anything, her mind was clear. It hadn't always been that way. A year ago, she'd been struggling. Constant fatigue, brain fog, brittle nails, poor sleep. Her doctor ran the usual tests. Everything came back normal. Still, she knew something was off. That's when she started doing her own research. One evening, tucked under a quilt with her tablet, she stumbled upon a talk by a naturopathic doctor specializing in aging. His message was simple but firm. There are four core vitamins every senior should take if they want to stay sharp, active, and healthy well into their 80s and beyond. And none of them cost more than a few dollars a month. Vitamin D3 was first on the list. Most seniors are deficient, the doctor said. And it's not just about bones. Vitamin D3 supports the immune system, brain function, and even mood. If you're over 60 and not supplementing, you're likely running low. Marjorie had her levels tested. She was well below optimal. So she began taking 2,000 IU of D3 every morning with breakfast. Within 2 weeks, she noticed a subtle change. Her usual winter blues weren't as strong. She slept more deeply. Her joints felt smoother. The second vitamin was one she'd never thought much about: vitamin B12. As people age, their stomach produces less acid, which means they absorb less B12 from food. The result? Low energy, memory issues, and sometimes even symptoms that mimic dementia. Marjorie had been blaming her forgetfulness on aging. But once she started taking a methylated B12 supplement, the difference was astonishing. She remembered her appointments without writing them down. She found herself reading entire chapters of books without needing to go back and reread paragraphs. Even her hands, once slightly shaky, grew steadier. The third vitamin was a bit surprising: magnesium. Not technically a vitamin, but a mineral. Still, it made the list. Magnesium was responsible for over 300 biochemical reactions in the body, the doctor explained. It helped muscles relax, supported the heart, calmed the nerves, and even regulated blood sugar. Marjorie realized she hadn't been getting enough. She had cramps in her calves at night and a general tension in her shoulders that never seemed to go away. She started with a small dose of magnesium glycinate before bed. Within days, she noticed the difference. Her sleep deepened. The nightly muscle cramps vanished. And for the first time in years, she woke up without the weight of anxiety pressing down on her chest. The final must-have was omega-3 fatty acids, particularly DHA and EPA, found in fish oil. Marjorie had always assumed fish oil was more for heart health, which it was. But what she didn't realize was how essential it was for her brain. Omega-3s helped reduce inflammation, kept arteries flexible, and perhaps most crucially, protected the brain from age-related decline. She started taking a high-quality fish oil capsule every day after lunch. The results weren't immediate, but over the following months, her thinking grew sharper. Her ability to focus returned. Even her mood lifted, gently but undeniably. With just these four essentials, D3, B12, magnesium, and omega-3s, Marjorie felt transformed. She didn't need expensive injections or trendy superfoods, just these simple, proven nutrients. One afternoon, she bumped into her neighbor Harold while watering her front garden. "You look good," Harold said. "You've got a bit of pep in your step today." Marjorie smiled. "It's the vitamins," she said, half joking. Harold laughed, but she could see the curiosity in his eyes. "I'm serious," she added. "Want to come in for tea? I'll show you what I've been doing." He followed her inside. She laid out the 4 bottles on the kitchen counter. "No prescriptions?" he asked. "Not these," she said. "Just the basics, the essentials." Harold studied the labels. "Isn't this stuff expensive?" Marjorie shook her head. "Not even close. I get a 2-month supply for less than a dinner out. And honestly, I've saved more money staying out of the doctor's office." She gave him a sheet she had typed up: dosages, timing, brands she trusted. A month later, Harold came knocking with a grin. "I've been sleeping like a baby," he said. "My knees don't creak like they used to. My daughter asked if I was doing something new." Marjorie beamed. She'd shared the information with her sister in Michigan, too, and her friend Bernice, who ran the church potlucks. Everyone had the same reaction. Why didn't anyone tell me this sooner? It wasn't a secret. It was just simple. These four supplements weren't trendy. They didn't promise miracles, but taken consistently, they gave her back a quality of life she hadn't realized was missing. She still had her gray hairs and her laugh lines, and she didn't pretend she was 20 again. But her mind was clear. Her body was mobile. She felt like herself, just sharper, steadier, and more alive. Sometimes, aging felt like a series of quiet losses, tiny things that slipped away without warning. But now, every morning, as she opened those bottles and took her vitamins with a glass of water and a smile, Marjorie felt like she was quietly winning them back. Not all at once, but piece by piece. And that, she thought, was a kind of miracle.